Hello, hello. Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that you carved out to make time. Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that you made time. I am your host, Sid Tran. Many of you know me as a DJ, but I'm also a music curator, event producer, film producer, co founder, and music director and talent outreach director of a nonprofit organization called Pax Musicana, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm also a partner of Ramatu Fafana Shoes, which is a women's luxury shoe brand that manufactures in South Africa. I started two businesses in the past, which one is an events production company, and the second being a food truck business with my brother. I started this podcast as a passion for having conversations with people that are experts within their field, just to bring on knowledge that can help all of our personal growth in different aspects of our lives. I'm always asking questions and looking for answers. And why not share the answers that I seek with everyone else around me, especially if you're looking to become your best self, so you can create your destiny with the life you envision. And I'm really excited that I have Kiara Fenderson today. She's a business coach to help us navigate through the currents of COVID-19. She's also the DC chapter president of the National Association of Women Business Owners. She should be tuning in any second. Oh, here we go.
Hey,
Hey,
Sid.
girl. Oh,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh my gosh, doing good. Living my best
I'm
life.
glad you are doing well. You look amazing, by the way. So please
Thank you.
introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kiera Fenderson. I'm a business coach and the founder of the Ambition Studio, where our mission is to end the ambition burnout among female entrepreneurs and leaders. And I became a coach because I have burned out so many times in my career and in my business. And I
Mhm.
started to realize this is ridiculous. This doesn't need to be happening to us. We need to understand what we need to be practicing every single day to have more balance in our lives and even in our businesses. And I found that a lot of people start businesses and don't really know what they need to hold themselves accountable and to create sustainable businesses. And
Yeah,
so that is why I created the Ambition Studio. I absolutely love everything I do.
that's incredible. What can you tell us what is a business coach? What do you do and how do you help people that own businesses
Yeah,
or
sure.
are
So
entrepreneurs?
yeah, it's kind of confusing, right? Because there are so many different types of professions that support you. There's consultants, there's coaches, and then there's like a therapist or a mentor. And so I usually like to say that a therapist is going to be there to help you like heal, deal with past emotional traumas. A consultant is going to give you the pinpointed answers. The problem is sometimes consultants will give you the answers and you'll try to implement the strategy, but something's blocking you. So let's say they're trying to
Mhm.
teach you how to sell your services better, and they give you an
Right.
exact script. It's like, go say this, and that. And underneath everything, you don't realize that one of your blind spots or one of your self sabotages is that you don't feel worthy of what you're
Yes.
charging. That's
Yes.
when you go to a coach, right? So the cool thing about a coach is
Okay.
like a business coach,
Okay.
I'm going to teach you how to sell, but I'm also going to be like, and what's underneath that not feeling worthiness stuff? We're going to transform that so that you can then be aligned to your worth and then you're selling with ease.
That sounds incredible. I asked you this earlier because you're talking about transformation, and
Yeah.
that's something when we don't have that confidence, we're not going to be so sure of ourselves or to sell our services or whatever it is that you're really trying to push within your business. So that's incredible. I feel like what type of person or individual do you feel needs a business coach?
Well, I will definitely say it's one of those things where you think about an athlete, right? Every athlete can go and do their sport from a hobby perspective. But if they're trying to go to the Olympics, they're going to get an Olympic level coach. So you don't necessarily need a coach, but if you're trying to accelerate what you're doing, if you're trying to be the best at what you're doing, and honestly, if you're trying to like shine light on some of your blind spots, you need a coach.
Yeah.
So the people that I work with are the ones who are feeling, and it might be easy to feel like this right now, like frazzled, completely out of love with your business. People who feel like they don't have a really clear strategy, or they have a clear strategy and for some reason they're having false starts. So one of my like longest term clients, she was ready. She had a year's worth of savings in the bank. She had her business name, her website, her services, everything. And she couldn't bring herself to pushing send on the email that was like, hey, my business is here. She was nervous about it. And it was so funny. On our first call, not only did she push send on that email, but she also pushed send on her resignation letter to quit her job. So like,
Wow.
if you want to get going, yeah, you need a coach.
She went all in. Like, that's
I
amazing.
kind of made her.
What's the process to kind of coach someone through that, to say, do you feel good enough about this email to go ahead and send it? Are you ready? Or do you feel like someone who wants to start a business, that they're like halfway in and out because they're like, they want to be a perfectionist and make sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted.
Yep.
Like, what do you tell someone that really needs that extra push?
Oh man, there's a couple of things. So I'm a straight shooter. Like, you have to vibe with me, and if we vibe, then I can tell it to you straight, right? The things that I'm looking for, number one is, have you established your LLC? Because if you haven't established or incorporated, you're probably not serious. It's probably more of a hobby. And then with her, I said, look, I don't ever want you to just fall into a ditch because your coach pushed you in. You have to be able to make your own choice. So let's lay out the facts. So we sat down when we were on our coaching session and we wrote out all the facts. We wrote out how much money does she have in the bank? What would happen? How much, what is it called? Notice. She gave her job 2 months notice. Like, we wrote down all the facts and looked at them really plain and said, okay, if everything is in line, what's really stopping you? And she said fear. And the thing about it is, like, we always wait until fear goes away, but it never actually goes away. And so it keeps us on the fence. And so I just challenged her. And the other thing that I will say is, I was like, look, you've just hired a coach. You might as well get your money's worth. So I'm going to challenge you. Let's go.
Why put it to waste, right?
Right?
Come on, let's do this. So, another reason I really brought you on is because, one thing that's current right now is COVID-19, right? So you have people trying to start businesses, you have people that are holding on to businesses, trying to figure out what they're going to do. And I was talking to Sonia Sheikh, who is a tax lawyer from DC. She also works pro bono with DC Bar. And we were talking about how businesses need to pivot. When do you decide that you need to pivot your business and kind of change your model so that you can survive through these current events right now?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I'll speak from personal experience and from talking to some of my clients, and then just some of the business women I've been helping, just with regular sessions. I am a very big proponent on trusting your intuition. That is the number one tool that we all have in our toolbox, especially as women business owners. And every single person I spoke to, and even in this time for myself, we have been getting intuitive hits earlier in the year. Like, hey, I think you might need to pivot a little bit this way, or try this new skill, or what about this new program, or, oh, do you really need to start like getting rid of debt or saving up more? There was these little,
in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah.
You're like, should I invest into that? I'm not really sure if I should invest into it right now. I think I want to put my money here instead. Or like, I want to go buy that new bag or this new shoe instead of putting that investment into really pushing your business forth, right?
Exactly. Yep. And so I call those pebbles. Like, your intuition is going to throw little pebbles, right? And then all of a sudden you get hit with a brick. And unfortunately, COVID-19 is a brick for a lot of businesses. I've experienced my own brick where I've just been like hit upside the head. But this is now the reality. And so now they have to pivot. And so there's a blog post that's on my website. So if you go to the link in my bio, you can click the link to see the blog post about pivoting. But when you want to think about pivoting, you number one have to be clear on what's your intention, because if you're just chasing behind the money, that pivot is not going to be sustainable. You also want to make sure that you're still solving a problem for your customer, because sometimes we think about, oh, this would be a fun skill, but it's not tied to what your customers need. And the way to do that is switch up your marketing so it's more empathetic and it's more transparent and vulnerable, and it's being very clear, like, hey, this has us all thrown for a loop. What do you need most right now? Get on the phone with your clients, create something with them instead of feeling like you have to figure everything out on your own. And if you
Right.
can't sell right now, there are other things you can do. You can build awareness for your business. You can do future collaborations. Like, get yourself known more if you're not in a space to sell. Like, if you have a restaurant, they can't come to your restaurant, but get the name out there so when they do, they're going to want to try out this new place.
Right. Because one of the things, the groups that I work with is the Atlas Restaurant Group, right?
Hmm.
And they own a lot of properties in the East Harbor of Baltimore. So they own
Oh
a place
man.
where I do the music directing is at Bygone and
Yeah.
Lazuli and all these great restaurants. I think they have like something like 15 restaurants. They've expanded in nationally also. And because they can't operate, they've been working with the communities and doing grocery bag setups for
Oh,
people within the hospitality
nice.
industry. So in that respect, that they're still
Yep.
getting their name out there that we're here to support the community through this. And
Yeah.
so, whatever it is that you can do within your business to whether it's like you and the staff come together and make sure that, mental health within the community, your neighbors are okay, like little things like that to say I'm thinking of you can go such a long way.
It can. Oh my goodness, it's so important. And then if you're not even in this situation where you can actively do something, like I have a couple of clients who are like event planners and their events are completely on hold and there's literally nothing more that they can do. This is the
Right.
time to look at your sustainability. And so that's what I was saying, like the brick hits and then you're like, crap, I never got my network really together or my mindset's a little wonky. You need to be looking at the 6 elements that create a really sustainable business and audit yourself and say, where am I with this? And what gap do I have? And how can I fill that gap? And that's what coaches do too, right? They help you fill gaps. They help you shine light on blind spots. So if you need help around figuring out like the keys to what creates a sustainable business, you can get my guide. I think I sent it over to you, but I
If
have
you
an
can send it
example
again, I'll
here.
definitely post it so people can have
Yeah.
access to that.
And it's in the link in my bio too, but the guide is like if you turn to page 4, let me see if I can find it. If you turn to page 4, it has like a whole checklist of all the
Awesome.
things you need to be looking for in your business to see where are the gaps and what can I do. Otherwise, you're going to be just using this time kind of like floating around, feeling fragile, feeling fearful, not in control. And what you can control is how you react.
That is absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Um, my other question is, how do you know that your chemistry between yourself and a client or your business coach that you're trying to look for works for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was just talking about this with a friend, and she
Yeah.
just hired a coach. And I was like, what made you say yes? And she goes, you know what? It's a vibe. Like, you know how you walk into a room and you gravitate towards someone, you feel that vibe, you feel that connection. That's
Yes.
your first test to say, can I receive feedback from this person? Because the coaching relationship can get tough. I see a couple of my former
Yeah.
clients on this live and they can attest, like, there are times where they can be like, Kiara, I'm done with you. Like, I'm hanging up the phone. I don't want to hear it. But if you don't have that relationship, you won't be able to grow. And then the other thing I will say that's really, really
Mhm.
important is please make sure that you do your research around the qualifications of a coach because the coaching industry in America is not regulated, meaning like a therapist needs credentials and go and like lawyers need to go through the
How do you
bar.
know that they have the correct credentials to be a
Okay,
coach?
so there's an organization called the International Coach Federation, meaning they are the credentialing board for all the coaches in the whole world. There's 3 different credentials. I'm a PCC, so that's the second level, professional certified coach. In order to be that level, you have to go through hours and hours of training. You have to do a 300 question exam. You have to be assessed orally. There's a lot of different things that you have to do, and you have to uphold that credential. So I would highly recommend just check and say, hey, where did you get your education? Where have you been credentialed? Because some coaches are actually consultants that call themselves coaches. And so you want to make sure
Yeah.
that that transformational piece is really important, and you don't want anybody kind of not knowing everything that they're
You don't
doing.
want people to try to sell you services and you get nothing out of it. Like,
Yeah.
how did your business benefit from it? Because you didn't, ask the question because you're like, okay, well, trusting, right? Because
Yep.
some people can like blindly trust another individual just because and that's the thing though, we want to follow our intuition, but sometimes when do you think that our intuition is wrong?
I think so. There's two pieces. I talk about this often. There's your intuition, and then there's analysis paralysis. And I think it's not that our intuition is wrong. We misidentify what our intuition is. So, like earlier, when we were saying, like, your intuition is like whispering, and you can feel this excitement, this flutter in your body. Everyone's intuition shows up differently, but usually it's some type of like high vibe, uplifting excitement.
Yes,
When there's anxiety or there's a little bit of worry or fear, that is
yes,
like your analysis paralysis brain. So if you're hiring a coach out of desperation, like, oh my gosh, I need somebody to tell me the answers. If I don't do this right now, then my business is going to fail. That's not your
right.
intuition. That's
Mm.
desperation. So you need to clear your head and get really clear on it.
That's awesome. That's a really great answer. That's really great. On another question is, once we hire a business coach, how
Yeah.
do we measure the metrics to say, that the money that I put into a business coach is profitable because now my business has gone, to this part where my expectations of my goals. So how do you measure
Yeah,
that?
I love that question. I'm so glad you asked that question because literally, when you apply to work with me, there's a question on the application that's like, what tangible result do you want to get out of this? And I don't let anyone hire me unless they have a plan to make their money back in tenfold. So every coach, no, thank you.
Girl, okay,
No,
I'm hiring
no,
you
for
tomorrow.
real. I've been on the phone one time and I was like, so how are you making your money back? Well, I just want to be more confident. And the confidence is going to relate to what? So let me tell you an example. So,
Yeah.
so I had two co-founders. Like, is there such thing as two people that owned a business, co-founders,
Yeah.
right? They came to me and they were like, we've been in business for about a year and we want to work together better and we want to be able to make like better decisions and blah, 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 blah. And I
Yeah.
said, great, we can work on your relationship together, but as a result of working on your relationship, what do we expect to see in your business? And so when they thought about that, they were like, oh, by the end of the year, we'll be able to break even because they had made these big investments into opening up their first space, their first location.
Let's think bigger than that.
Yeah. And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's the first milestone, but like, what's next? Right. So
Yeah.
the thing about it is when you start working on your internal like leadership and how you're showing up and making bold decisions,
Yeah.
you're naturally creating a momentum and energy that is saying, I want more. I'm stepping into abundance.
Yeah.
And so they were
Yeah.
able to hit their goals, but you have to have a project attached to whatever you're working on with a coach. Otherwise, you're just getting on the phone and kind of having like a therapy session. Nothing wrong with therapy, but you know what I mean? Like you're not
Mhm.
making progress, and that's what we want.
Right. That's awesome. That's Girl, you are on it.
Thank
So
you.
question coming from a future entrepreneur, is this a good time to start a business?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when I started my business, I had just gotten fired. I was on unemployment. I was on some luxury girl. I was on this luxury beach resort and feeling like a failure. I think the thing, and I don't know if you heard the stats, but most minority, especially minority women, we have the fastest growing businesses, like rate of growing businesses,
Yes,
because it was out of need. Like back
yes,
in the recession in 2007, we couldn't get jobs. So we had to start our own
mhm,
hustle. So
yes.
this is the time. Like, of course, start now. You have the free time, you have other people's attention. Why not go
Yeah.
ahead and take a risk? We're already in like
So,
uncertain times.
so what's unique in this environment right now that, since we can't gain clients physically and seeing them
Yeah.
face to face, how can the clients that you need find you or find the business that you're starting?
So, a couple of things. I am a big proponent on if you're just starting, working your network. I see a lot of people chasing behind the social media, the internet, and trying to get to like the 10,000 followers or trying to
Yeah.
get to a certain level of visibility. And the most productive and rewarding connections are the ones you already know. So when you're first starting, you make a list of 10 to 20 people that you want to have conversations with that are in your network about your business. They're going to tell other people. Word of mouth marketing is so much stronger than trying to build know, like, and trust online. For online, like, you still want to have a presence, but this is for content. This is for showing your expertise. This is for like social proof. And don't spin your wheels trying to find your clients completely online, because it's not going to have the same type of gravitas. It's going to take a longer path to getting there.
That's absolutely right. That's incredible that you say that, because our support system is everything. And if you have a strong foundation for that, again, for me as a DJ, all of my clients have been word of mouth, and I'm truly grateful for that, you know? So the other question that I have, that it came from Carla, and she's a current business owner right now. How do we know that your business will be viable in this current condition? Because it's like, do you continue to sustain yourself and stay afloat and operate your business, or do you shut down because you only have so much saved? Like, how do you pull that plug, or how do you continue to to survive through this?
That's a great question. And who did you say that was? Carla?
Carla. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carla, we should connect after just to make sure what your specific situation is, because I get it completely. I worked with a client who was ready to shut down her business. She had been doing it for 2 years.
She's a 5-star master esthetician.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, this is so interesting. I was just speaking to someone else who was an esthetician. There's a couple of factors that you need to look at. Number one, first and foremost, is check your mental resiliency to make sure that you feel like you're confident and you have an optimistic perspective on the viability of your business. Because if you are in fear, you're going to only see things not working out for you. Then practically, you want to look at your runway. So how much money do you have in savings? How much is it going to take you to keep paying your expenses or your bills? Have you talked to your landlord? We want to shore things up financially. Once you shore things up financially, then it's time to look at how you can pivot and get creative and diversify. Meaning, we know that people are going to come out of quarantine needing all kinds of touch-ups, right? Eyebrows, skin, right? Yeah, girl, that's why I'm trying to hold my hands away. Like, listen, there's going to be a huge need. What you want to focus on is, how am I going to be ready for when the boom happens? Like, you already see people are protesting, get me the hell out of the house. So when that boom happens, this is a tip that I gave my other esthetician client. I told her, call all your client roster. I mean, every single one of them. I don't care if there's 100 people on there. Call every single one and say, hey, I am here for you. And as soon as we open the doors, I'm going to, number one, if you buy the gift card, we all know about the gift card hustle, $100 for $125. But then I'm going to give you the first access to my appointment slots for the first month, VIP style, so that you can be the first one to get in here and get yourself back together. That's showing VIP treatment, and customer service and how you make people feel is going to like bring back that brand and that money and that return tenfold. So I always say, like, you only fail if you quit. And if you can't figure out the financial viability, then maybe there's a pause. But if you're really passionate about what you do, you always can come back to it. We're going to need those services.
Absolutely. And then also her other question was, because promotional material for that industry is pushed out 3 months in advance, would it be smart to invest into that during this time? For instance, if she wants to start like a skincare line and ordering some skincare products to have on deck so that she can try to, because right now she was like, she can try to move her skincare services by doing consultations via face-to-face in the meantime. Would it be, would that make sense for her to put into that investment for promotion?
If I was talking to her, I would honestly want to see what her financial situation looks like, because some of us are in a position where we can invest and some are, and there are certain risks that you want to take, but we have to be smart about what the return is. If your inventory, when you hold inventory, you're spending a lot of money up front. And it doesn't allow you to pivot as easily. I wouldn't suggest her getting into anything that is concrete or not pivotable right now until we can figure out what's going to happen. And there's still going to be a little bit of fear hanging around with people. So
Yeah.
I would suggest her creating whatever is that's more nimble, not so I just get nervous about inventory right now, just because we
Right.
don't know how that's going to shift.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I definitely get that. Do you have any other advice for current business owners so that they can continue to thrive, or anyone who's actually wanting to start their own business? Are there any tips that you can give?
Yeah, I would definitely say, well, let me show you. Here's my two favorite books. I wanted to make sure that you guys got these two favorite books because they're super
Oh,
important.
awesome.
Number one, I'm all about mindset. So this book, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. Do you know this book?
Ooh. I have the other You Are a Badass book.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay. The yellow one?
yes, yes.
Okay, get the green one. This
Okay.
book, this book transforms your relationship to your money and your mind. And that's where all of this starts because some of us are like, oh my gosh, doom and gloom, this is the end. And then other people are like, how can I attract more abundance?
Yeah.
Download this book and start shifting your mindset around money. And then once you shift your mindset around money, this is the second book because I'm all about the money and making the profit, right?
Yes.
Profit First. Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, however you say that.
I'll definitely,
This,
if you could send those to me, I'll go ahead and repost it
okay,
later onto my Create Your Destiny page so that you guys make sure you guys follow that, for everyone to go ahead and get those. They
okay,
have the ebook
good,
that
good,
you gave
good.
it to me.
Yeah, yeah, this one's like a workbook. And the cool thing about this is when I implemented this in my business, my profit increased by 124% in a matter of like 3 months.
That's
So
incredible.
that's
Wow.
why
Okay, so
this is a
that's
really great
that's a must.
book. It teaches you how to structure your business so that you are saving more, you're profiting more, and your expenses are lean. And I think that's the most important thing right now. And if you're starting your business, like make sure your business is structured to profit instead of just like break even all the time.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're
How can people
welcome.
follow you if they have more questions, if they want to reach out to you, if they're looking for a business coach? What is your best contact?
Yeah, so definitely follow me over at The Ambition Studio. That's on IG. If you go to the link in my bio, you can download the guide that assesses how sustainable your business is. And then I also included a free training video that's going to walk you through everything you need to know. You have some tips in there that you can try out. And if you feel like you're still stuck and you need like specialized advice, on that same page, you can schedule a call with me and we can hop on a call for 30 minutes and start pivoting and trying to figure out like what's specific for your business and where do you need to look at for sustainability. So just go on my
Awesome.
bio and all my information's there.
Oh, my girl Sheila. Hi, boo.
Hi,
Oh,
Sheila.
she is a boss. Definitely have her reach out to you, and I'll have Carla reach
Would
out to
love
you.
to. Yes,
Thank you so
Carla,
much for
please,
your
please.
time. Is there anything else that you have, anything that's coming up that you wanted to share with anyone?
Yeah, I would love to just say, you guys, there will not be a return to normal. Okay? So let's stop waiting on that time. Let's stop waiting for that moment where we're like, oh, I just want to get back to what it used to be like. This is the time to
Yeah.
create. This is the time to release. This is the time to step into your abundance. This is the time to have the confidence because the world is literally changing. And because
Yeah.
we can create our own destiny, we can
Hi,
create,
girl.
right? We can
Yep.
create what the next phase looks like. So take charge of it instead of being a victim to this situation. This is
Yeah.
actually a really ironic blessing.
I definitely agree. It's time we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And
Yeah.
if you guys are going through it, please know we are thinking of you, praying for you,
Yeah.
but also know that there has to be an obstacle that you're going to come across and you have to go through so that you can get the next blessing and level up to the next part of
Yep.
your life. And you are worthy of it. Know that,
Mm.
understand that. Please feel free to reach out to Kira. She's there to help if you need any type, for business coaching. She also does leadership coaching for
Yep.
corporate leaders. But I'm sure if you have any questions in helping how you can start a business, she will also be available to you, and you can follow her at The Ambition Studio. I'm excited next week. I'm trying to lighten things up. I have my boy Martin, who's going to be coming on. He's a comedian.
Oh, that's gonna be
From
fun.
the Overachievers. We're going to kind of lighten things up and get a couple of laughs in. So make sure you tune in for that. So thank you, girl. I really
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
so
Thank
much with
you.
all the knowledge. I really want to work with you when it comes to the coaching side, because
Let's do
I
it.
have a lot of things on my plate that I need to have
I
some
see you
information.
over there.
So thank you
Yes.
so much. And I look forward to having, we'll eventually do this again, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thanks,
Right.
guys. Thanks for joining
Thank you
us,
so
and stay
much.
healthy, everyone.
All right. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I will have Martin from The Overachievers. He does DC Improv. He also has a comedy show that he does over in LA. So he's bi-coastal. He's local from PG County. He's coming on next Tuesday. It's going to be hilarious because, I've been real serious on the show the last, this is the 4th episode that I've done. And I think the next one is going to be just us having a good time and connecting. So, look forward to seeing you guys, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of my goddesses, my queens, my princesses, my kings, my princes for tuning in, and continue to thrive. I know it's difficult, but trust me, nothing easy or nothing difficult is easy. Or I can't even talk right now. Nothing worth it comes easy. All right. Bye, guys.